Hello everyone, hi, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today I have a beautiful reading and I'm very excited to reveal this message. I was picking up on some really strong energies earlier today, and part of it was quite constraining actually, as much as it revealed itself naturally to me after. It seems that we are always on the precipice of either abundance or the parallel of that, because especially when you're being intentional with how you're walking on the land, how you are speaking to yourself and others, and how your mind is navigating throughout the day, can really not just change your frequency and change your day, but can also change your destiny. And to basically start off is, your life is in your hands. Because it is. It says that a man can change himself and master his own destiny is the conclusion of every mind who is wide awake to the power of right thought. To know that we can change our destiny for the better, but then that can also be for the worse if we're not careful. However, as I was doing the reading, I realized that you were just about to step into a timeline that wasn't just and wasn't for you and wasn't on your highest timeline. Excuse me. I've got incense burning and my window is closed, so I'm just going to open the window just so I'm not coughing. There we go. New fresh energy coming in, and it's really stunning actually how we are on this frequency where we can actually now not just receive fully as we have been with the Ace of Pentacles for clarification and confirmation that we have been receiving from the divine and from our source of what we believe and put our trust in, that there is always a common exchange in terms of asking for help and then being able to receive that help, and then wanting protection, then being gifted protection, because you are staying clear. And that's what the Six of Swords is suggesting, that you and your crossroads and the path that you are on is very clear. And that's very good, because for this harmonious change to take place, you must be able to see things clearly, which you have been, and discerning at that too. And with that, you probably are wondering, what are these two ruins doing here? And one of them is Issa. Issa is ice, and then this one is Laguz. Wait, let's see. Let's get the page. Laguz, sorry. Laguz. And it's about the seen and unseen powers that be. And it's funny because I didn't even intentionally mean for Issa and Laguz to be together in this harmonious change. It just fell on these two pentacles. And obviously ice and water are quite harmonious elements together. And for them to be able to interact is like to be in stillness and in solitude but also flowing, knowing that we are tapped into these unseen realms. But for us to be able to fully receive and to change our frequency to a higher one at that, which we go by saying, as you rise higher, you take the world with you. Because there is no limit to the good thoughts that you can think, good words you can speak, or acts of kindness you can perform. There is no limit there is no limit to how high you can increase your frequency. Your positive frequency emanates out like the ripple from a stone thrown into water, touching our planet and every living thing in it. And in my previous reading, I was speaking about how these beautiful three cards just behind the crystal ball have presented themselves to show how to actually be able to use that energy in exchange. And it is with the element of water. The element of water is a very feminine energy. It's not, it can move. It's very flexible. It's limitless, and it does come in different structures, just like ice, and like different depths. There's like layers to water, not just it just being water. And water is very healing. Talking about water, I'm gonna drink some, as we should, guys. Let's drink some water. Oh. And for us to be able to be in that state of, to continue to be in that state of flow, you must be able to do that alone, because I pick up on a lot of love energy and energy of interacting with others and collaboration. But this reading that I have received is very independent, and I think that's also very important, because not just being empathetic and understanding and caring, but we also must have some sort of discernment with us, and we for us to be able to exchange our energies, not just even more effortlessly with the other people that we want to, is we must have swords with us. And that goes into this card, which is the Death card, because just because you are a kind, empathetic, considerate, caring individual, does not mean that you should oblige of anything that you are not giving. And we sometimes mistake being a good person for being walked upon, which obviously we don't want. We want to be able to be discerning and to be able to protect our own energy, and to know when it is the right time to be able to use our intuition and to get ourselves out of a situation that actually does not serve us. So with that being said, that Death card is now gone, because we have already undergone this death, I really feel, and it's now just time to walk in the Wheel of Fortune. Not just walk, but just, keeping that energy and that wheel turning, because now we have already learned from our mistakes, and, from our cycles and our patterns. And we know what's about to happen. We know what is about to occur if we continue on the path, and it's a very good one, isn't it, Ashe? And for confirmation, I actually have opened a page on this book, and it talks about the numbers and planetary numbers of each planet, being like of Jupiter and of Saturn, Mercury. So it's very celestial energy. Planetary energy, where, the cosmic realm. And obviously, by tapping into those, we will be able to have an advantage here. So do not forget to tap into the unseen realms, please. I will say that again, because, for us to be able to fully, not just change our, our frequency, because I am picking up on this energy of, being able to maintain our frequency and to lift it even higher, because we'll be very surprised of how high we can lift our frequency. So please, gratitude is riches. The daily practice of gratitude is one that conducts by which wealth will come to you. I am very grateful for you guys, and for the people that have watched my videos and have watched me on my journey of sovereignty and also creativity. I am so grateful. I'm so grateful that I have a platform and I have a voice, and I can actually speak about these things. And I'm very grateful for my circle that I have currently I've currently have made through my community, and I'm just so grateful for everyone. I'm grateful for what is happening in my life. I'm grateful for you guys, and I want you guys to be in that gratitude energy too, because being grateful is so much more than just material. It is feeding our souls. It's fulfilling us. It is fulfilling us. So let's jump for joy. I did have this in the other reading too, but I mean, I just love this energy. You can lift your frequency and accelerate manifestations and change your whole life with a powerful visualization technique that can be done in 30 seconds. Imagine that you have just received your desire and see yourself jumping for joy. Let's do that, everyone. Ashe, ashe, ashe. Let's visualize through the crystal ball our desire coming into fruition, and see ourselves jumping for joy. Stunning. And you know, for us to continue this harmonious change, what must we do? You know, the successes that are unfulfilled, we be excited about what is happening with what is going on and what has happened and what also hasn't. You know, being able to just maintain that, you know, that excitement that when you have just achieved, you know, because it does just bring so much pleasure, you know, to be able to do what you love to do and to be able to also receive in a way where, you know, you can be able to actually receive a way that can not just fulfill you spiritually but also fulfill you physically. And I know that we have all been trying and is being one with our destiny to be on the highest path of abundance. So, you know, sitting on your throne is a must, and reclaiming that energy that you and just knowing and just knowing. And the combinations with not just your manifestations, but also your beliefs and your philosophies and not to just believe in, but to see your manifestations unfold is very much a pleasure. And be of witness and remember how that feels, because that will just attract more. And that will create swiftness. And we want that type of energy to also come through, especially during spring and summer, where we want all of these energies, and not just all of the energy, it's physically being able to interact with the world in such a way where it feels bountiful, it feels exciting, and you know, as someone just like me, I am a homebody. I love playing video games. I mean, I tried to play video games today, but I just wasn't in it today. But I like staying at home. I do like reading books. I will stay indoors, you know. I will find a way to stay indoors if there is. However, the energy, the elements are saying be outside. Okay? It's time to be outside and be that magnet. You know, we are so beautiful. We are, and we must be able to use that, you know, not just for our own benefit, but to allow people to see it. You know, people need a living, breathing representation of what a bad bitch looks like, of iconic behavior, of pure magnetism, Marilyn Monroe energy, you know, Leo rising energy. I've been picking that up and I've been seeing it also, as I'm also Leo rising. But, you know, just who else, guys? Are you guys a Leo rising? Where's Leo in your charts, guys? Because it is showing through, you know? And that knowing, that knowing of that, yeah, just the knowing. I mean, obviously, look, the High Priestess card is just presents just knowing and being you unlocking that and using that intuitive side of yourself to not be afraid of what you are seeing. Oh my goodness, it's a bit messy here, isn't it? I wonder if I can... No, I won't touch it, but just like, yeah, like using that High Priestess energy is, it's your birthright. You've inherited that. It's your journey. Use your intuition. And like, and I'm sorry, and I do say, and I do keep apologizing, but that's because, you have an intimidating energy about you guys. There's this energy of don't fuck with me, or you will catch the consequences. And that is High Priestess bad bitch energy right there, because no one should be able to touch us, affect us, and manipulate us. We are on our A game. We are locked in, guys. We are so locked in, Like, if you know, you know. You know. You get it. You see it. You feel it. The vision. It's being. It's happening. You are not walking in ignorance in this life. You are walking in complete acceptance and surrender that you are protected by the divine. And that is what it is supposed to be like. Ashe. I don't know if you guys know American Horror Story, but if you do, obviously, you will know and understand where I'm coming from. But we are the supreme. I would say in an actual coven, they most likely don't apply the same rules as that. Who knows? I know in my circle that it doesn't necessarily apply like that. It's just more of the, everyone has their gifts, and everyone, people have strengths and, stuff like that. But I am picking up on the energy of supreme energy, okay? And the laws that abide with nature is obviously people will inherit multiple gifts depending on their lineage, their inheritance, naturally, their Akashic records. All of this, by the way, if you're curious about this, I have services that are open to be able to perceive and see the energies that you have, whether hidden or already unlocked. And that supreme energy is omnipotent, to be able to, for nature to also be able to bend and work in your favor. Calling on those ancestors that are also in the frequency of love. Use that. You are being gifted by spirits. The spirits are gifting you, darling. Are gifting you this energy of omnipotency to be able to create barriers that are, bigger than, mansions, bigger than lands, to be able to create a barrier around a city. That's the type of energy that we have. And, through the banishing pentagram, through invocation pentagram, through the circle, the solstices, the cycles of the moon, working with planetary energies. There's, sirens, for confirmation, that, your energy is not just, it's in demand. We need your guys' energy. Like, they need our help. They need our help. These people need our help and our assistance by lifting also not just the frequency, but to be able to, change this world that people just love to complain about, when we can actually make a difference, because we are not minority, we are the majority. So by changing our mindset of how we see things and how they're directed towards us, we can transmute that in a way where we can actually use it for our abundance and for our prosperity rather than the lack. and the misfortune. So I will repeat myself again. It is time to start to be more aware of the power that we have. Because by using that and being aware of the wheel of fortune, for example, we will be able to see, the abundance unfold clearly, which is already doing, and it is turning. Just, take it as confirmation, because we are all made up of cosmos and stars. However, the collective that I'm speaking to, we know that these stars and the cosmos, there are levels to this. And it is up to us as the initiates to be able to use this energy and to tap in and to become the bridge of this so-called reality, and to actually understand that it is not our responsibility we are not supposed to carry the weight of other people's problems. We just are innate. We should be able to walk and interact with this world of how we clearly see fit. So it's time to start visualizing and to start being still and actually keeping the vision clear, and to regardless of what is happening in your external environment, whether it's distractions or things that people are trying to steer you off the right, when you are being steered off in the wrong path. So let's just be clear now. Let's stay on the path of enlightenment and keep the crossroads clear. Pray, cleanse, meditate, do these things that is going to make you feel better, like some incense, light a candle, do a spell, do things that you can just do with the palm of your hands, because it's just so easy. Literally, the magic just pours out of your hands, your essence, your veins literally are magic itself. You can just feel your magic all around you. You are Cinderella. You can literally transform yourself into your newest dream. Well, your reality. So, like Winx Club, they are magical, and then when they're in a time of, let's say they want to help, or there's someone needs assistance, the world is ending, whatever, you know how it goes. In My Little Pony, they say, oh my goodness, let's get the harmony of elements and let's use our there's layers to this. It's time to transform. It's time to transform. You are in your, let's say, mortal state, but it's now time to be able to be like Winx, Sirenix. I feel the power of the ocean. Okay, that was not good representation of the song, but I feel the power of the ocean, connected and need a spark on me. Sirenix, you're the one devotion. Suddenly I'm soaring through the sea. It's like I wonder I can fly, going deep down under. It's time to transform and to become one with the goddess. To be with her and for her to be in us. Because we are a living and breathing representation of love. Thank you guys for watching this. I love you guys so much. So much. And I cannot wait to see you guys again with another message. It's very good. This message was very good, guys. I feel very positive, and it brings me such a pleasure to be able to bestow gifts. Last reading nearly was like an hour? It was absolutely fantastic. Not as long this time around, but I thoroughly enjoyed doing these readings. And if you would like a personal one-on-one reading, don't be afraid to comment a butterfly emoji or something that indicates that you want a reading. Just literally say you want a reading. You can follow my Instagram and my TikTok to keep up with my creative endeavors. And yeah, I'm so excited, guys. I love you guys so much. Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope this message not just came to you clearly, but also I hope it has helped you on your spiritual journey. If you know somebody else that would need this reading, needs help, just send it to them. Share it around. There's never abundance is limitlessness is limitless. There's always enough. There's never lack. So share the love, share the good energy, and what you send comes back to you. So, with that being said, I love you guys. Ashe. So it is, and so it shall be. Bye!